for, there's 7 of us,
I don't know.
right?
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
we were missing because
because we're missing Cliff, Bruce, and
Jeff.
Jeff.
Jeff
So,
said, well, Jeff he just hasn't re-upped. He kept telling me he was.
okay. So we're down a member.
I wasn't know that.
Was it?
I didn't know that he was up.
Well, I don't know, he just said but maybe he doesn't know he has to do something.
Maybe he doesn't.
Okay.
We should check on.
We need to check on
Yeah.
that. So.
I don't know who keeps track of like how long everyone's been.
I'm not trying to get rid of him.
Usually
told us twice. He told you.
Yeah, usually it's my,
Okay.
Well, maybe that's
And,
CJ could probably
well,
help.
he told me while we were writing, I think, and then he talked about it. Maybe you weren't there.
Did he say that his term was up? Or?
No, he just said he was going to,
he
was going to leave the committee and do something with his church in his free time. He said he might consider coming back at some point, but
Yeah,
since he hasn't officially done anything, I guess he's still a member.
so,
I'll look into that.
yeah, we'll check into it.
I don't think we have any decisions to make tonight anyways.
Yeah, and I think we do have a quorum because we have 4 out of 7 of us.
Yeah.
So, in which case, I'll call the meeting to order at 6:39 on October 10th, 2023. And thank you all for being here.
6:39, right?
Yes,
Yeah,
6:39. Are you recording tonight?
Yeah.
Thank you. And I don't have minutes from.
Did you get my email today?
No.
I had
did
sent
not.
you the minutes like
Sorry.
a few days after our last meeting.
And you know what? I was looking for it and I did not see it. And I think it has more to do with my search on my thing, because I was thinking that you had just sent it then too. And for whatever reason, it wasn't coming up. That's not your problem, that's mine, and my apologies. So let me put it in here and. Yeah, for whatever reason, I did not receive those. At least it's not coming up here. I will try to. But I do recall you said you were going to be sending them away.
Yeah, I sent them and then I sent you a confirmation today, just asking if you, I'm just making sure you got the.
And I'm sorry, I didn't even have a lunch break today.
Oh, that's okay.
Um,
No, I was very diligent about getting them done before I left on my trip.
Yeah. So, and thank you for doing that, and thank you, Mike, for recording tonight. So we will just proceed, and once you get that, maybe we can.
Yeah, if I can.
Yeah, or even we can do it at next meeting. So, no public comment, no member, unless otherwise, any new business?
Okay, I found.
Great. In which case, we'll do staff and council update. Emma.
I have a couple of things. In our August meeting, you all had a couple questions about some road projects. So I checked in with Jerry. The Ivy Road improvement. He says that's currently out to bid, and he thinks construction will start in about a year. They need to do some right-of-way acquisition, but the new road will have underground power and storm. So
It's going to start in about a year.
yeah. If I remember correctly, that's been a long standing road. And then we also talked about logging road paving,
Yes.
and he said that that is already on the paving schedule, meaning that it's kind of in the plans for this upcoming year, and thinks probably July
Oh,
is
good,
when it would happen.
good. That's news. That's.
No, that's the
Yeah.
existing repaving.
Yes, correct,
existing-
yeah.
Is that the whole
Yeah.
thing or just
Um,
parts of it?
I didn't get that level of detail, that's a good question, I should check. I feel like we talk about a specific section that was,
Yeah, I thought, I was thinking the section out to the, particularly the section between 13th and the gun club.
yes,
Yeah.
so like the southern section.
Yeah,
So that's a new section.
because back in the day, they
The
only
gun club, that's new.
paid half of it instead of the whole thing. And,
Okay.
yeah,
But also 13th down, past the school, going the other direction. Going away from from 13th, the opposite direction from the gun club.
Yeah.
It's really rough, like going past the new development and the school and all that. It's gotten
Yeah.
so
Well,
choppy.
it's rough there, and then there's a lot of places where the roots are lifting up.
Yeah,
Lifting it up, and they've done some work on that, other than taking the trees out. Just shallow root.
yeah,
So
So-
maybe we consider, I don't know what kind of details they have kind of already decided, or kind of what exactly is covered in the paving schedule, but
mhm.
I'm kind of wondering if maybe the committee drafts up a letter and just say, basically
I
like,
think-
hey, Jerry, here's our areas of concern that we
Yeah.
see as frequent users of the trail, and kind of call out those sections. I know that it's kind of
Mhm.
season that the trail's getting less used, so we might need to double check, but if we could as a committee just say, these are the sections we're concerned about and we'd like to see paving, and like Mindy, you're saying, if we think
Yeah.
it needs to be widened.
And I think, it was a lot of, I think it would, by a lot of goodwill to get that paving done, especially between the gun club and 13th.
Yeah.
Because, you want to be good neighbors.
Mhm.
So, but there's other places too
Yeah.
that we need to be attentive to. And so
All right, so,
let's talk about those.
well, it'll be interesting to see what they have planned, what section, I guess we're getting into the weeds on this a little bit, but it would be interesting to know what they have planned as far as south of 13th, from, like, say, from 13th to the gun club, and from the gun club, maybe they're gonna patch potholes or something like that further
Mhm.
down. Whatever it is they got on their agenda.
Mhm. Okay.
And then also, of course, maybe you already said when they're gonna do that next year, or,
It's on the paving schedule for this upcoming year.
okay.
And so Jerry said he thinks probably it would be done, or they would start work on it in July. I don't think it would be,
Oh, okay.
I don't think it would be like a super long
Yeah.
time,
Yeah.
process to construct whatever they're doing, but.
Okay, well, maybe it's just a matter of a little email
Yeah,
between he and I and CCU,
yeah. that
just
sounds
to kind of ask for a little clarity on that. And then if we have concerns as a committee beyond that, we should,
Then we can kind of
Okay.
send the committee's thoughts, maybe once we have more
All right.
details.
Anything else?
The only other thing is that there's 2 hearings that are coming up for development. They're going to planning commission on the 23rd. One is the beer library, which used to be the old library, is that correct? No, those sidewalks are already done, and so there's not planning any changes to the right of way in front of that. And then the other one doesn't really have any bike ped implications, but Public Works, they're adding like a card lock fuel station. And that's also done. But
Wait, there what?
they're adding a card lock fuel station, so just like a fuel station for city staff and some partners, like utility and fire. But they're just adding that to the Public Works site, so that we're not requiring frontage improvements or anything like that.
Yeah.
We're worried about that. And I don't think it's really safe with bike ped out there anyways.
So those hearings are coming up
Correct,
in the next month or so.
on the 23rd of this month.
23rd of
Yeah.
October.
Correct.
So,
Anything else?
And then, I'm jumping ahead a little bit, I put it at the bottom of the schedule.
Yeah, let's talk about that.
So the first comp plan meeting happened about a month ago, I believe, and it went pretty well. I meant to grab something of like the visions so right now, what the last meeting was about and kind of what the primary focus of the outreach right now is like, what does the future look like? You know, how do we envision what Canby looks like in 20 years, and how do you put that on paper, right? Like, what's important? Is it trails? Is it better schools? Is it, more housing? And it definitely seems like people, the logging road is important, and trails, and that was in the discussion, so that's good.
That's good.
But the next meeting for the comp plan is on November 14th, which falls on the same night as our meeting.
Yeah, so we'll need to,
So,
Yeah.
we could have our meeting still.
no, I have to be at that other meeting
Okay, perfect. So then we
also,
can
and
reschedule.
yeah,
I don't know if I
so-
have to be, but
I,
I plan on it, and so we should
do
think
you,
about that.
maybe we should look at the city calendar. I don't
Yeah, let's.
have Wi-Fi right here, but maybe we should look at that and see what our options are.
I think if we keep it on a Tuesday night, we should be fine. Can't remember what nights Parks meets. That's really the only competing.
I wonder if the 7th would be better than the 21st, since the 21st is not the week of Thanksgiving.
Yeah,
Or it's getting
and
close.
the 7th is county. But I mean, maybe Bruce can be at the county one and I can be here, we can always split it up that way. Other times, we have done kind of a hybrid meeting between November and December.
Mhm.
We could do like November 28th and then January, hit our January 9th. It's a thought.
That sounds reasonable.
Does that sound okay? Does that sound okay to
Say that one more time, Mindy. Sorry.
Maurice here? November 28th?
If- No, but they don't do the calendar this far out, but I think we should be fine. It appears just the library meets the third Tuesday, but so we could do the 28th.
Shall we tentatively set the 28th?
And then I'll shoot out an email. And then skip December, because that's kind of covering November.
Correct.
Okay, that sounds good.
Yeah.
I sent the meetings by the way, but I don't know, it said that you might need a Google account to open it, so I don't know. I tried to save it as a Word document, and I sent it just to the 4 of you.
Oh, okay.
And Mindy, I figured you could send it to the rest.
Yeah. Thank you. So now, there it is. Are you guys able to open that?
No, says you have to have access. Request access. So,
Is it Google Docs, Britt?
Yeah,
There-
I think
I don't
so.
know on the phone, but usually there's a thing that you can change that says like, anyone with the link can view. And then
I
they don't
did
use
say
it.
that, but I'll try it
Maybe they
I'll
should-
try doing it a different way.
For
There's
some reason, it
cracking
showed up
down.
real well online.
It shows what?
I got it.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah.
I can't see it.
Don't ask me why.
I-
I gotta go through some gyration to see.
Wonders never cease.
Yeah. Today it's, the dice are falling.
And what about you, Mindy? Were you able to?
Oh, yes, I
open it?
have it.
Okay.
Thank you.
So
I couldn't open.
let me, but you got the email? You got?
I got the email, yeah, and it
Okay.
says that it's asking the question, and then it said I'll get an email letting me know if my request was approved.
Yeah, it's not letting
Let
me.
me try it again.
And it says it's going, well, no, that's okay, I mean, I never use Gmail, but that's what my Google account is hooked up to.
Okay, I'm trying it again. I sent it to you a different way.
If you have a word, and it's on
It was a Word
Oh,
document,
yeah, I don't know.
and I tried to save it differently too.
Let's see something.
Oh, yeah.
I'll try. Okay, I'm trying two different.
Sometimes I can.
You are sending an invitation.
No, I'm sending it to a different account.
Since there is no Google account associated with this email address, anyone holding this invitation will have access without signing in. Okay, I think that's what we want.
Let's see if it goes this way.
Person added. So I sent it to you two different ways just
Well, look at these minutes. I don't think I was at this meeting. And I'm curious about the logging road connection to 99. Was that discussed?
Yes.
Is it gonna happen, or what stage of?
It's included in the city budget,
Hmm,
so that's pretty exciting.
yeah, so
Yeah.
is Jerry or somebody, I wonder who's figuring out the configuration of it and like that. I mean,
I haven't heard anything.
well, there are people, I guess, on council that are kind of forwarding the project, right?
And Herman was here in August, right? And then
Yes.
he was saying that he would kind of,
Oh, that
Talk to
means
some other folks
Herman,
about it, yeah. He's our council rep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
And
okay.
so I think he was receptive to the idea.
Hmm. Okay, well, at some point, I guess it'd be interesting to know what they think.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know, I'm just kind of an inquiring mind on that kind of stuff.
Well, yeah, and I'm curious too, and I'd sure love to hear of the design and
Yeah.
all, and maybe that's something we can,
I don't believe there's any designs in the work
yeah,
currently. And it's hard with funding. Is it funding for the design or is it funding for, but you have to design first.
yeah.
Yeah.
Because a lot of that falls under ADA, the angle, can't be more than a 5% incline and stuff like that. So I know
Yeah.
other times we've talked
A
about,
lot of switchbacks going on.
projects, that's typically
Uh-huh.
discussed as part of the cost and expenditures, and all, so,
That would be.
but they know, the people who design these things know that far better than I ever would.
Yeah.
So has there been a design firm hired even for it?
I don't think so.
Okay, so it's like,
Maybe, well, they said they're talking about the Pine Street intersection on 99, maybe they'll have one
Correct.
group do the whole,
Those plans are done, though.
oh, those are?
Those plans.
Oh,
Or, sorry, excuse me, no, I'm thinking of a different
oh,
intersection.
okay.
Those, what, I was thinking of Walnut Street.
Okay.
the Walnut Street plans are done?
Yes, the intersection of, or at least the intersection of Walnut and 99, the proposed plans are done, and my understanding, last I heard, which I'm not necessarily being, kept in the loop for the most current stuff, but it was being reviewed by ODOT.
Are we gonna get to see those?
I believe we
already
already looked at those or discussed that.
The Walnut and
Yeah.
99?
Oh, wait, say that again?
So Walnut and 99,
Yeah.
the offshoot from the
Yeah.
Columbia distributing? I don't remember seeing, but maybe you just sent them to us.
Well,
It's-
it's,
At least in the minutes here, it said Walnut connection to 99 is still planned, but is it, we saw the preliminary.
Maybe it was not the whole, did you see them? Yeah,
No.
I don't think it went out to the whole.
No, we reviewed it
I
here
think, we reviewed them and talked about it.
in committee.
Oh,
Yeah. And
maybe I
then,
wasn't at that meeting.
I don't remember that, okay. Like it actually showed the design that they were gonna do?
Oh, I remember that.
Yeah.
and so that's, I think it's, would she be able to see that? I wonder.
I don't believe they're anywhere online.
Yeah.
I'll have to go back and see if I can.
Yeah, I
find it.
totally don't remember that, and I feel like that would have stuck in my.
Yeah, it was early last year, and it was when. Or maybe it
No,
was even
prior
December.
than that.
Was that?
I think it was before.
It might have even been
And we
almost a year
we
ago.
sent Public Works a letter with,
Oh,
or an
okay,
email
so if it
saying,
was, I was thinking it was
here's
like
the
really.
committee's concerns.
Yeah,
No, it's takes.
Yeah. because we were talking about, a
I
separate.
remember talking about that,
For that, right?
I remember that conversation, yeah.
Um, So are they any further along in that plan? I mean, it looked like they talked about, they had something up on 99E saying that construction was going to be beginning sometime.
Not for that, no.
No,
I don't know
it was
what
for
that's
something
for.
Oh, I think that's the south end.
Oh.
Oh, okay.
They did
I did
do,
see that. somewhere.
yeah, they did do like, made the barrier thing, but that's done.
They need to do more than that, but that's not in this list.
Yeah.
All
No,
right.
I don't know what what level of details they have, if it's like engineered plans yet, I'm not sure.
Yeah. So let's zip back to minutes. Were you able to see the minutes now, Russ? Or
Yeah.
not? Okay. Any corrections or otherwise, I'll take a motion to pass the minutes.
It's good.
Okay.
Looks good to me.
That's good.
Yeah, yeah. That's the one.
Motion to approve? Is there a motion to approve as written? Mike,
Also,
can second it, and all in favor? Great, approved. Great, thank you. And now on to hotspots. Any hotspots or areas of concern by our members?
So I have
Or
something
mention-
unusual. I mean, it's not what we usually consider a hotspot, but in the parks, which even, especially like the ones along the logging road that I've noticed, and like Locust Park, there is no soap in the bathrooms still. And I think it's really gross. There's a sink with water coming out, but no soap. So it's like, how can we get soap or hand sanitizer? You know, if anything,
Yeah.
hand sanitizer put in, because I've been in third world countries recently, which have much better hand sanitation than can be.
Well, it's BYOS.
Yeah, apparently, but there should be like a PR campaign for that.
Do you have to pay down there for, in South America, to use the toilets?
Sometimes, it depends on where you, like on the, so most of the time when we were on the hike, we used nature's toilet, but there were a couple places where it was like somebody's farm or whatever, and they let you use their bathroom, but you have to give them like one soul, which is like 3 cents or whatever.
Oh, we usually have, over there you give €1, which is more than $1.
Yeah.
But the thing, but I was really surprised one time, we had €1, so, and Judy had to use it, but they took a credit card. It was at a, maybe it was in an airport.
Oh, that is weird.
Yeah, I mean, they really got it down to the science, but the bathrooms are clean.
So there was a time, and I mean, this is totally off the topic, but when I was in the Czech Republic years ago with my mom, we had to use the bathroom, but we only had 1 coin. So we talked the lady into splitting the piece of toilet paper between the two of us. So we each got 1 square of toilet paper. And I had to have this conversation with her in German
Oh, no.
because she didn't speak any English.
Oh, God.
And I learned Czech. So like negotiating the.
Oh, my God.
It's really frustrating when you pay €1 and you went in and it's just awful.
Or no toilet paper.
Well, that's not as bad for a guy.
Yeah, that's true, yeah.
Yeah.
But still, it's,
Yeah.
but that didn't happen. I guess they didn't, it was okay.
But yeah,
That's why you have to have a change.
we carried toilet paper and hand sanitizer everywhere. You never know. So this is the person
So,
to contact.
no, you need to contact the parks, but I don't know the phone number for so Rhonda can direct you. I would give her a call and just say, hey, can you forward me onto like the parks maintenance lead today?
Do you think they would listen? I mean,
Yeah.
Okay.
And CC me.
Okay, if I send an email.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, and I'll probably chat in there and say that we were discussing it and.
That'd be great, yeah. Because I mean, we're all about safety, right? Along the logging road, and that's one aspect of safety, right?
And you want people to feel comfortable in getting out there and, you know, just like you said, you've been in a lot of third world countries, better.
Well, and what's frustrating is at the Locust Park, you know, all summer, they had the picnic in the park thing put on by Bridging Cultures.
Yeah.
So there's food, and it's like, you have bathrooms there, but no soap. Yeah, it was just really frustrating, but, so could I email her too?
You could,
Rhonda?
and just say, hey, can you let me know who to contact about this? Like,
Okay.
who at park should I reach out to? I'd like to send an email with some concerns I have.
Okay.
And just all the guys wear so many hats, I can't keep track of each
Okay, thanks.
And anything else on hot spots around town? I think a lot of us have just been out of town a lot more than we've been in town this past month. So I'm not quite aware of any concerns voiced, but otherwise, any updates from outreach at this point?
I don't think so. I mean, I think since the last meeting, there might have been a couple things that I was asked to post about that I did, but I can't remember exactly.
And the other thing, we're going to want to post about the cultivating can be thing coming up. and opportunities for input. Yeah.
Do we have a link?
I can send you
Okay, thank you.
the link.
Okay.
It's when in doubt, Google cultivating candy is kind of the slogan for the
Oh,
project, or that's kind of what they're calling the project.
And yes, so even though we're not meeting on that date, we hope that you will all participate, come in, do it online, or come in firsthand is always really wonderful too. And find out what's happening and help us get lots of input. So for the comprehensive plan is what this is all about.
Is there, thank you, because I was too busy. I think you talked about it earlier. I was trying to find the minute. And will that also be broadcast on Zoom?
I'm not sure, but the last meeting was not on Zoom. But there was, like, the materials were online and the same survey that people filled out in person was online.
Oh,
So
okay.
this presentation isn't necessarily there, but the materials are.
So
Okay,
what
that's
will-
good.
What will this one, when you said last time, now what will this one be focused on, you know?
I read it and now I'm blanking, but let's see, we can, I think they have it online. So I might have to read it in my thoughts. What does it say? Interactive mapping to identify ways to accommodate growth and identify community priorities for that growth. Place stickers for land uses, draw changes for transportation and infrastructure updates, and write down your big ideas.
And this is really where putting your stickers up, things get written down as part of plans and priorities and everything. So please encourage, I encourage
Spread the word.
everyone to be there and to share, and also to encourage, other community members to take part. It's pretty important stuff.
So it could influence rezoning?
Correct.
It does.
Yeah.
It does.
It's basically everything into, like, this document is kind of like the big picture policy of, like, how do we guide decisions, what do we want the next 20 years to look like? And so this results in policies that eventually lead to, like, implementation. So when council's making a decision on something, let's say, oh, we want to put this trail here. Okay, well, what did the community tell us in this project in the comprehensive plan? Oh, well, look, there's a policy about, the importance of trails, or this trail in particular is in this document, like, clearly the community wants.
But it's also saying what the community would want, like where they think commercial.
Yeah, I
Property.
think, yeah,
This should go.
yeah, it's also kind of like what on the ground growth do you want, what do you want the expansion to look like? And yeah, like on the ground, what kind of uses, or, I think you could certainly say bike ped infrastructure falls under this.
So
It is always just such a dilemma between, I think Canby is the type of place that will always just have this dilemma between keeping it homey, small, and then growing it and having more resource. I don't know, it's just, and even like any individual person can have mixed, like I have mixed feelings. And I think a lot of people probably are just like, you see advantages and disadvantages of different.
And in the end, Oregon law, correct me if I'm wrong, you can't cap growth in a community.
Mm-hmm.
And so we have to grow, we have to have mixed density housing and all that. And so, is that correct?
Yeah, that's correct.
But you can be mandated to expand your city boundaries to accommodate that?
It's not necessarily that direct. Basically, the state is the one who researches population estimates for 20 years. So the state says, hey, Canby, look, we did all, they have people who, that's their job, and they assess what they think the population will be. And so, okay, Canby, I don't remember the exact number, but I'm just throwing it. There's going to be 3,000 more people in Canby in the next 10 years. And so we have to show, hey, state, we can accommodate that many people coming into our community.
And it's either with high density housing, right, with that uses less square.
Well, it's the state will not.
Less acreage.
The state will not let you expand your UGB anymore. Like if we said, hey, we're just going to add more single family neighborhoods, the state would say, no, you can't do that.
Mm-hmm.
So, the state and kind of what the top of the state is pushing now is definitely more towards that, but I don't think it will necessarily be entirely that. I think it will be a mixture of it.
Yeah.
Of, range from high to low and in between, like the missing middle stuff.
And looking at a community and how much industrial and business and commercial versus residential, and if you're tipped too much one way or the other, how you can bring it together or whatever. And, there's certain.
You have to have certain like availability of commercial and industrial.
Yeah.
And really,
But
and really
is there,
environmental.
but is there a requirement for affordable housing? Doesn't appear to be.
So
Depends on what you call affordable housing.
not necessarily. The only city that I'm aware of, well, no. The long short answer is no. The state now I'm trying to put this in the most simplest terms. We're working on multiple studies that are going into this. Like this takes 3 studies to even get to this, like where do we grow? And the state say, yes, you can grow. And one of those studies is the housing analysis and determining like what do we have now? What is projected? Do we have enough land for that? And the state now requires as part of that, they call them housing efficiency measures. So not necessarily, hey, you have to provide 50 affordable units in town, but what measures can the city take to make housing more accessible and affordable? So, like loosen certain regulations of zoning so that it's easier to build something, or allow, like we're talking about allowing mixed use on 99.
So what?
Mixed use housing, so like like the Dahlia, but on 99 is something we're talking about. So we have to take some of those, but they don't necessarily lead to what is like capital A affordable housing for someone's getting a reasonable.
Well, it's a dilemma everywhere
Yeah.
because, you look at what it costs now and then very difficult.
Mm-hmm.
And, keep moving further and further out, and then Malalas prices are going up and all the other places. So.
And as our density increases, if it's going to, it sounds like it will, we want to make sure that we provide for a healthy community, again, good walking and biking facility to be able to, have physically and mentally healthy populations and safety by being able to get out and interact in a community. So there's a big part that we can encourage people to, include that in the vision. So, but also hearing what our community members want.
And it's kind of to your point, Brett, I know, I think it is a very common sentiment in this, like, we love the small town feel of Canby. We don't want to lose that with this. And I think that's why it's really important for people to engage and say, what are these pieces that we need to preserve as this happens? How do we grow well and not to say, we're growing, well, that's too bad. But like, let's be strategic and do it in a way with the community.
Is that kind of the messaging too with this to people?
Yes, I think, that is the sentiment.
I think even in the name,
Yes,
cultivating candy.
You know, so can we build a mixed, you know, we need to grow, can we build a neighborhood that has affordable housing for maybe the younger population in town, is walkable to Fred Meyer or a supermarket, and can you bike to work, maybe, you know?
No, that would be a big thing that I don't think, maybe it's on the periphery, but that should be really, we should really emphasize is the ability to safely walk
Yeah.
and bicycle anywhere in Canby, and right now we can't. And that should be, that should be at the top of the council's priority list, because if you're gonna make you got a split community by 99 right now.
Yeah.
And pretty much most people feel the only way they can, if they live south, the only thing they can do is drive to the north, you know?
Yeah.
They don't feel comfortable walking because the sidewalks are crappy, going up Ivy or going across Pine, or almost anywhere. And bicycling is always chancy as well. That's the sort of thing I guess we should be advocating to move up the priority list.
Well, and by getting these things, if you have community members that are getting those sticky notes on there in these meetings, it is huge.
Now, I don't quite understand what the sticky notes.
They'll ask you,
It's basically a way to collect it, we
So
can
you're
have this
just-
conversation here, but how do the consultants who are leading the meeting kind of?
Can that also be done remotely? Is that
I
part of
believe
the-
they'll have it, again, so this was the first, this is from the first meeting, and so the results, so they have the results online that you can
But
actually,
Look at that's what do you call
Yeah.
that?
The word cloud, I think.
Yeah, but I mean, look at the biggest one,
So,
it's small,
Yeah, small
and
town,
small
city,
town, and then businesses and parks.
parks.
Those are the biggest ones, city. And then bike is pretty small. Kids are real small.
Logging?
It's probably logging road,
Okay.
it only pulls individual, words, so,
Truck?
you have to, I believe it will be online, usually they put it up online for, at least a week or two.
So there will be a
after.
way to put a sticky note or whatever for
Yeah,
people who
virtually,
can't use
yes.
it. Yeah.
I believe so.
surveys are crucial.
Yeah.
And so
And so you can
just
actually
like
go
writing
read, maybe I'm interrupted, but you can read what people said online already, you can see what's commented. For the first stuff, not for, then maybe it'll be again, so, why do you choose to live or work in Canby, and you can see what people responded.
Is it still, I remember like 10 years ago it being, and I think it still is the case where most people who work in Canby don't live in Canby and vice versa.
Yeah, I think a lot of people leave.
Yeah.
But, and we did breakout groups. In my group, one of the interesting things that, I can't remember his name, but a local real estate agent was saying is they showed the median house price in Canby right now, and the income you would need for that, to reasonably afford that, and it was you need to be a lawyer to afford a house in Canby right now. And anything below that is technically, not reasonable to be purchasing.
Whereas the income that the average person who works in Canby makes is nowhere close to, yeah.
Yes, so, right, yeah, how do you balance those two, of,
Right.
are the jobs in town moving? Yeah, so there's a lot of pieces, but, this is really intended to be a community-driven plan and project. So, comments on plan.
Earlier, you mentioned 3 studies that were, the city's doing those studies?
Yes,
And what were the categories?
I exaggerated, it's only 2.
Oh,
So in order to expand the boundary, which is kind of what the expansion,
yeah,
we need to evaluate what land we have right now and
Okay.
what demand there is. And so those are broken up into 2 studies, basically residential land and not residential, so industrial, commercial. So the the employment land one is called the economic opportunities analysis. I believe that's already been adopted. And so you could probably find it online. I can send it to you if you want to read a long, long document for fun. And then the other one is the housing needs analysis. That's risk.
Okay,
And that's in the works currently.
okay, that's interesting.
And look at that, it says host your own community conversation by clicking on the document below titled Canby Community Conversation Kit and follow the steps inside.
And is this geared towards, I assume this is geared towards everybody in town and in kind of the greater Canby area?
Yeah, certainly it's not limited to like if you live within city limits, it's anybody who. And so I think, Mindy, this is like, if you belong to a community group and want to kind of get their input,
Yeah.
this is a good guide for folks to do that.
But you'll get to that by going to cultivating Canby and then working your way.
Do they have this in Spanish too?
Some of the materials are in Spanish, and they had an interpreter at the last meeting. I don't
I
know
sure hope
if
the
anyone
online stuff is available in Spanish, because that's pretty important.
Yeah. Yes, the conversations or to engage. It might be, I'm not sure.
Because I have connections in the Spanish-speaking community, and it's this kind of thing where if it was in Spanish, it would be great to get the word out to them, but if it's not in Spanish, I don't want to be like,
Let me ask.
Oh, there, it says translate. So you just hit translate button.
Oh, that's a Google thing. Okay.
Yeah. Which is pretty broadly available now.
Yeah, try some. Yeah, okay.
There it is.
Huh. Amazing. That's because it's a Google document, you can do that to it.
Yes. Huh. Wow. Is everything in?
I wonder how good of a translation it is.
I know, I would say.
Very good, it's Google.
My Spanish isn't good enough to know how good it is.
I like when I use it translate, the Google Translate on my phone, and I put the word in and it translates to the same word.
Right?
Well, thank you a lot.
So we can move on if that's okay. Clackamas County bike update. There's not a whole lot pertinent this month, so anyway.
Mindy, do you know where they're at in their bike ped plan?
Not really, because Bruce was on that committee and they didn't talk about it this month, so.
Usually it's still, I think there's stuff to do.
Yeah. Have you heard anything more?
No, I haven't.
Yeah. So, and in which case, I guess it brings us to who will take minutes next time. And
do you want me to try to look up?
Next order?
If I can tell, yeah.
I got July or in July.
Sequence.
It's been a long time for me.
Well, why you did too?
Revised
Two
by
in a row
10
then?
minutes schedule.
2 in a row?
No, it's been a long.
Okay.
Yeah,
Why not?
as many meetings
Do a
as I
catch-up.
guess.
So it goes, and maybe we should put this in the minutes, just so, and I wonder if the sequence, we could just put like on all of the agendas, or like a running thing in the minutes.
that would be a running.
So here's the sequence. It's Russ, Britt, Mike, Cliff, and Jeff, but I guess there's a question mark with Jeff, right?
Yeah. Wait, Russ, Britt, Mike?
Russ, Britt, Mike, Cliff, and Jeff.
But it's gone through, I mean,
Are we
Russ,
missing somebody?
Mike, and then back to Russ, Britt, because you did it last one, right? And then Mike's this time, so it should go on to the next person.
So Cliff would be the next one.
Cliff would be the next.
Yeah. So we're in sequence because
Yeah, because
Mike
you,
is after me, I
Right.
was after you.
Right.
Yeah.
So Cliff would be next. So Russ, Britt, Mike, Cliff, Jeff, with Jeff as a question mark.
All right.
Bruce is not doing,
Yeah.
he was absolved of minutes duty for,
Because he's on all these other committees for the, Cully and
Well, why
the.
don't we go Mike, Britt, Mike, Russ, Mike, Britt.
Yeah.
No, that's fine.
All righty, and in that case, I think we
Move to
can
adjourn?
move to adjourn.
I have one more question
Yes,
that's sort of a
please.
little off course here, but I had a conversation with this person a couple of weeks ago who was talking about the Canby District Parks and Recreation, making a parks district. Have you heard?
Capert.
There was.
Yeah.
There was one, right? Or it's
Yes,
not- it's
yes,
not
there is
exist, but
one.
not active.
There is
one?
one, and they were asking the county if they could take it down a little bit, so it wasn't quite such a huge area, because what happens is that then if it's usually, we've sent things out about it.
But we don't have one right now, that's my understanding. We have the city parks department,
No.
but we don't have a parks and
Well, there is a
recreation
Parks and
district.
Recreation.
Oh,
separate.
that's what you're talking
Like
about,
the
the
Swan Valley Parks and
recreation.
Recreation.
So that we could have like, they would have parks outside the city, but they would kind of work in tandem with like
Yes.
this.
They
I
had
guess
had
so.
a very large one at one time, and then just last year or this past year, there was a move to request from the county commissioners to shrink it up a little bit, because it was so large that.
Clackamas County?
Well, it wasn't the whole county, but
They had to request from the county commissioners to shrink up the
Like service area.
the size of that Canby area thing. The problem is in the past, it would go out to all the voters in that entire area, and I don't know if it included Wilsonville or some, areas that had almost nothing to do with Canby, and so trying to get anything going in Canby was near impossible, because those other taxpayers were like,
Yeah.
why would we do that?
Why would we want to
So,
pay for your
yeah.
bridge?
So anyway, the move was to shrink that down, but there are actual positions that you see on your ballot to vote in people to those positions. They are positions that are held, and there are people on it. And I can't tell you exactly
And it-
who, but
It's on
one of
the
them
county-
was
the county
Shannon's.
ballot?
Do you remember Shannon, who used to
Yeah.
be on this committee?
No.
Her
Oh,
husband
yeah,
was
yeah,
one
yeah,
of
yeah.
the people to help push that through, to shrink it up a little bit, to make it something that Canby can actually use.
well, it seems to me, as I recall, and this is only recollection, I may have it wrong, but there was too much control of the direction of the Canby parks by people who weren't in Canby and really they didn't care if there were the parks down there.
Yeah, exactly.
Because they lived in,
When you have,
they lived out in, Whiskey Hill or something, and
or, even further away.
further
than
away
that.
than that, yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, they might be shrinking that down a little bit, and, yeah.
But there is a Parks and
There
Rec
is.
committee in
Do you
Canby.
know
Oh, yeah.
the,
But
And
you
then
just-
look at
This is
the,
somebody outside.
Yeah, I think that when you have a district, I get the impression the taxation picture changes on it. I guess, And I don't know the details of it. I just.
Well, and actually having a recreation department and stuff, so it's written into, you should review online the parks plan that they revamped, and they have drawn it out there a fair bit too, and hopefully getting our recreation department and district going. But first, we have to make it of a size that will actually possibly work.
To establish something like that, though, does that have to go to the voters?
I thought there was one already established.
It's already
Really?
It
established.
just is not very.
It's already
It's
established.
like not very active currently. It's not- This is
Okay.
very secondhand information that I have, but that it exists. I don't know if like they're meeting and just not be able to push things forward, or if they're not meeting, but like the structure, you know, what would we call
Not
it?
active.
The district, you know, like has formally been adopted and exists, but like what are they doing with the powers granted to them? That's, I think, what's currently.
Okay.
Right here, the can be current, I'll try to share this with you, and it has the update.
Mike, also, Ryan Potter, who's a planner, he is on the Parks Master Plan, or sorry, the Parks Committee, like this committee, that's the Parks one, and he was the lead on the Parks Master Plan that Mindy was talking about, so if you give him a call, he should be able to give you some details, he knows.
Okay, and I'm sending it out to all of us, or all of this, all of us here. Oh. Okay. Subject, covered, update. Okay, county okays Canby area recreation districts request to shrink boundaries, and that was 7 months ago.
Oh, interesting, oh, so they are kind
interesting.
of doing stuff right now.
Yeah,
Oh,
so-
okay, interesting, that's more than I realized.
Anyhow,
Thanks.
that was good news.
Yeah.
But do you know, well, we don't have to get into it, but I'm curious, like, where the line is between, like, this is the city's parks and the city department versus that. I think they're two
Oh, yeah,
separate,
yeah.
kind of two separate.
Yeah, and I think, because you have the capital board,
Yeah.
and then I think in the,
From like a taxation.
yes, there has to be something that, once they can finally get something
Yeah.
approved,
Yeah.
as by, I think the structure is there, but they have been powerless
Yeah.
because they can
Okay.
never pass anything.
Yeah, but-
And exactly how it plays into the city, it's going to,
Yeah.
but now it should be something that can be used, hopefully. So, anyway, yeah, good question.
You could go to the parks meeting and grill them
Yeah.
on it and see what they give you.
So,
Ask them about the soap and bathroom.
Yeah,
too.
Yeah, we'll take care of that.
Yeah, you bring them to.
all right, move to adjournment. Mike,
I'm sorry.
second. All righty, thank you all. What's for dinner?